I slept with a Playboy millionaire to get out of debt and ended up falling in love with him. Point of view, Caleb. Sleep with me, and I'll make it all go away. The man's words sounded insane. However, in the most vulnerable of moments, insanity is something you latch onto. I crawled out of the alleyway and looked at the man, questioning whether he meant what he said. "You don't mean yes," the guy purred, a dashing blonde man with the most alluring eyes. "If you come with me, I can make it all go away." It sounded too good to be true. I lost everything. Uncontrollable gambling debt caused me to lose everything. My house, my partner, my credit score. All this happened before I reached 30. For a guy like him to even say something like that was magical. I looked at the hand extended to me. But why? I don't deserve it. In fact, I didn't feel like this was real. I was heading back to the hovel I could barely call an apartment. I planned to spend the night just doing something, anything, to get my mind off how things were. Now, after getting this offer, I wasn't sure. I looked at him over. He was the hottest man I'd ever seen. I felt like a shadow, someone who didn't matter in his eyes. He was so stunning and handsome, I couldn't keep my eyes off him. Now, hearing him offer this, of all things, had me conflicted. I wanted to say no, to turn away, but if he was serious, how could you prove it? "Well, it all depends," the man said coolly. He extended his hand, his nails perfectly manicured. I felt like a fool even taking it. "I'm Elias." Realization hit me. He did look familiar. I remembered a guy named Elias that looked like this. I took it shakingly, slowly. "Caleb." "Well, Caleb, if you want those debts to go away, you can come with me." It'd be foolish to say no. I wasn't above having sex for money, and this was one of those times. As I took his hand, he whisked me off to a place, one full of pleasure, and one which awoke something more. Point of view, Elias. I brought Caleb back to my place and got him a shower. He didn't smell terrible, but he looked ragged, like he hadn't had a chance to take care of himself. He was attractive though. I saw it in his eyes, that handsome, devilish look. I wanted him. If I could give him this, then it'd be fine. Plus, my date tonight bailed on me because he got together with someone else. Relationships, I didn't do any of that crap. They seemed like a good idea at first, until you had to be tied down to someone. At least with Caleb, I got to get off my rocks and then leave. Caleb came out of the bathroom with the robe. His face looked brighter after he had it cleaned, and he looked so much more alive. "Thank you for letting me take a shower," he said. "No problem. Let's have a seat." I gestured to the bed. Caleb plopped down on it. Neither of us said a word for a bit until I took a deep breath. "How much do you need?" I don't want to ask for much," I chuckled. "I'm sure whatever number you want will be a drop in the bucket. I own $1 million company." Caleb nodded, still taken aback. "Would 50,000 work?" "Here." I grabbed my checkbook, giving him 100 grand. His eyes widened like saucers as he asked me, "But why are you doing this?" "Because I can see it. You had something bad happen, and you're just trying to get back on your feet." Caleb nodded. "I got into gambling debt after losing my brother. I didn't know what to do. I started to play slots all day and I lost everything. Even when I paid it off, I still was out 50 grand. I tissed. "That's a shame. Depression can do that." "Yeah, but what about you? Why are you doing this?" I wondered it myself. Was it because I hadn't done a goodwill gesture in who knows how long? Or was it something else? A smile crept to my lips. I just want to make sure you're taken care of. In turn, you'll take care of me tonight." Caleb nodded. Uh, of course." "Then kiss me." I grabbed Caleb's chin, turned it to look at me, covering my lips with his. I immediately moaned. He was a good kisser despite the circumstances. I pushed Caleb down onto the bed, and soon our lips and tongues danced together in a passionate embrace. My hands undid the knot, and the robe fell to the side. He was beautiful, and for a moment, I admired that naked body. Then, for the rest of the night, I delivered kisses all over him, and took what was mine. Point of view, Caleb. Wow, that was the best sex of my life. I looked around at the large, spacious hotel room, thinking about how it all transpired. I met Elias, and he offered me this opportunity, and then the time in the hotel room. I opened up to him for a moment. Even now, I'm not sure why I did that, but it felt nice to talk to him. Man, am I sore. I stretched, feeling the reminders of the night before all over my body. I grabbed the robe and wrapped it around myself. When I headed to the bathroom, I saw all the reminders of last night in the mirror. The hickeys Elias left, how the man worshipped my body and gave me something to remember. It sure was a night to remember, and I'd do it again if I got the chance. That's right, another chance. The night was magical, but he agreed to a one-night stand. The guy was a millionaire, so maybe it was one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. I had to forget it. After freshening up, I walked over to the nightstand. There, the check for 100 grand and a note sat. Caleb, last night was a lot of fun. I had a good time. I really enjoyed you and our chemistry. It sure beats the last guys I've had. I doubt we'll see each other again, but I wish you all the best. The money is yours, so do what's best for you. But try not to piss it all away. Best, Elias. I read the note again and again. This was my second chance. After being poor for so long, this was the opportunity I'd been waiting for. I grabbed the check and looked at it. It was legit too. I gathered my clothes and put them back, already feeling gross, knowing how raggedy they were. I went down, and the front desk mentioned the hotel's booked for a week. This was another gift from Elias, the eccentric rich man. I placed the money in my bank account, which had looked as good as it could for a while. Now though, it was fat. After grabbing some new clothes, I looked around, trying to see if Elias was still there. Nope, not at all. Even back at the hotel, he was gone. I sighed, disappointed that it ended like this. Oh well, he was a millionaire, so he probably had to get back to whatever he was doing. For me, it was time to get my life together. With the money in hand, a second chance. Even though I wasn't expecting it, I got a new phone and a laptop and began searching for jobs. I have a degree in technology. Maybe this opportunity was the second chance I needed. For the rest of the evening, I searched for jobs. Occasionally, I thought about Elias, but I assumed it was one night and it wouldn't mean anything more. Point of view, Elias. There you are. Marcus reached out and enveloped me in a hug, pulling away the smirk on his face. He said, "Glad you could come. I wouldn't miss it for the world. You always throw the best parties. And I'm glad that you made it out here, too, given your busy schedule." He chuckled. "For guys, I make the time, and for the pretty ladies, too." A couple models I knew waved, and I flashed a grin, turning back to Marcus. "Let's get this party started. I'm ready for some booze and to forget about the world for a while." "Likewise." I followed Marcus to his large poolside, where guys and girls of all kinds in bikinis splay around in the sides of the pool. The bartender makes me a drink, and I sit there. Immediately, two brunettes come over, posing right next to me. "You're pretty cute," one of them said. "Flattered. You could say the same for yourself," I murmured. The girls leaned in and kissed me. I kissed them back, enjoying the taste. It was just a little bit of harmless fun, right? It's not like the night meant much. Still, Caleb was deliciously attractive, with his muscles and curvaceous backside. I didn't mind the night that we shared, but That was all it was. One night. Something the matter? The blonde to my left said. I shook my head and grinned. Not at all. In fact, I wouldn't mind if we took this somewhere else. Of course, the girl said. I grabbed them and left the pool area. Marcus gave me a look and I smirked. That's all sex was to me. Something fun I did with others. Women and men fawned over me and it was hard to say no. It was how I always did things. Settling down, please. I'd rather not debase myself like that. A relationship opened the door to me falling in love, but I stayed far away from love. For my sake and others. But as the girls took me that night, and I shared a bed with them, one person was on my mind. Caleb? Why? Why did he have that others didn't? Eventually, I shrugged it off and focused on the here and now. We'd never see each other again. I gave him a chance. I figured he'd probably just piss the money away anyway. If he didn't, I'd be shocked. Point of view, Caleb. I sipped the champagne flute, feeling like a fish out of water here. Derek, my friend and business associate, lightly nudged me. Something on your mind? No, I just still don't feel comfortable in these types of places. The club's light danced above us, but it wasn't just that. It'd been 3 months I slept with Elias, and something I wondered if we'd see each other again. It's him, isn't it? Derek said. Come on, he's been gone for 3 months, I muttered. I was such a bad liar, and Derek rolled his eyes. I swear, you should be grateful he did give you a chance. You're out of debt, and now you got a kick-ass job as a software developer. True, I'm grateful for that. I wish I could have thanked him in person and... Wait a moment. Was that? It was. I brushed past Derek and moved through the club. The dancing bodies partied, allowing me to get through. When I got to the other side, I ran towards the back, where the VIP room was. Hey, you can't go in there. The guard's words were long forgotten as I entered the VIP room. Smoke plumed from the hookah in the center. But that wasn't what caught my eye. It was Elias. He looked the same as he did a few months ago, maybe even more attractive. His blonde hair was longer, tied back into a ponytail. I wanted to run my fingers through the locks and hold him while he kissed me. Elias looked up, his eyes wide with surprise. You're... Good to see you again, Elias. The guard grabbed my arm, forcing me against him. He moved his head so he could look at Elias. What should I do with him? He entered the VIP room without permission. Don't worry, Dan. He's with me. The guard named Dan dropped his hand and slunk off. We stood there facing each other. Elias patted the seat and smiled. Pleasure to see you again. Yeah. I breathed, completely shocked. Come. I'd love some catching up, since you look well. I followed Elias over to the couch and sat next to him. Tension built in the air as I bit my lip trying to figure out the right words. Where do you begin after 3 months? Elias's hand touched my thigh, and he leaned in. Glad you didn't piss away all my money gambling. I wouldn't, I replied. In fact, I quit that life, got back on my feet, and ended up working with my friend's software company as their lead developer. That's great, Elias purred. It seems like you followed my footsteps in the tech world. I flushed. It's not like that. I had a degree in it. Relax, he said. I'm teasing. But you know, you are cute when I tease you. Crap. His words were doing something to me again. Biting my lip, I looked at him. Elias leaned in, his hot breath against my ear. There's something you want to say, isn't there? I nodded. Yes. I know this sounds stupid, but that night changed my life. Not just because you gave me the money, but I never forgot you. Elias caressed my short hair. I do miss your long hair, but I can see that spark in your eyes is back again. I missed you too, Caleb. I sat there, taken aback by his words. Did he miss me? Or was it my body? Either way, when his lips crashed against mine, all rationality left. He pulled me into his lap and soon we were making out in the VIP lounge. Pulling me back, he pushed a couple of messy strands at my face. Want to do somewhere more private? I nodded. Yes, I like that. Good. Then let's go. Point of view, Elias. I looked over at Caleb, who slept soundly next to me. A sad smile crossed my face. He looks so good, but I can't settle down with him. Sure, he was a fun and decent person to be around, but I refuse to settle down for what happened in my past. Giving my heart to another person was not in the cards. I slipped out of bed and showered, gathering my clothes to put them back on. With one last look, I smiled. Until next time. I went down to the hotel lobby and got some breakfast. As I sat at the cafe with an espresso in hand, sipping it, a pair of azure eyes caught my eye. It was the waiter who gave me my drink earlier. He came over and looking at me, nodding. Tastes good? Oh yes, you did a good job. It's almost like you made it specifically for me. The words rolled off my tongue, but I felt a pang of guilt. The guy moved slightly closer. Consider it a personal gift. I will, I purred. How long are you gonna be on the shift? The guy hesitates but then speaks. I can get off in an hour. Well, maybe in an hour you can come up to my room and... Elias? Crap. I looked and saw Caleb standing there. His eyes were wide with surprise. I retracted my hand, clearing my throat. Caleb, you're up. Yeah, I thought you'd at least stick around this time. I'm sorry. I need to get some coffee and then leave, but maybe you and I can have some dinner sometime next week. The waiter disappeared. Damn, I would have liked to have a taste of that. But from the moment Caleb got there, I forgot about others. Why was he like this? My thoughts were a whole mess. Sure, I'm sure you weren't busy with that guy over there. Nope, I'm fine, I mustered. Come on, let's have a drink. The server made some coffee for Caleb, but it was haphazardly made. Caleb and I had some breakfast, but we talked, both of us agreeing to another date. What the hell was I doing? Agreeing to dates like this. And yet, I wanted to do this. I wanted to spend more time with Caleb. He somehow won my heart. What this meant for me, I wasn't sure. Caleb and I got a little bit of fun. As long as it wasn't serious, then I didn't care. Point of view, Caleb. Elias and I agreed to meet for dinner next week. I was excited but also confused. He was flirting with that server. He had to be. I thought he liked me. Well, enough to want to sleep with me again. I shouldn't be so bothered by it, but Elias looked at him the same way he looked at me. Oh well, as long as he showed up for this date, that's what mattered. When I got there, Elias had a table. We sat down and began talking. Elias was fun to talk with, and we shared mutual love for technology and reading. I told him about the books I read. Elias listened and engaged in what I said. So yeah, I don't recommend it. The story's really corny. I imagine, he replied. I should get more book recommendations from you. Handsome and intelligent, the perfect combination. I'm glad I can help, I said with a smile. It feels weird, thinking about how my life was in a gutter a few months ago, but now things are different. Better. I know. You got a good head on those shoulders. You as well. I smiled. The server came over and took our orders before disappearing. However, I caught Elias staring at him. I cleared my throat to grab his attention. He turned and looked at me. Elias, is there something the matter? No, it's nothing, he grunted. Just something caught my eye. You do like to stare at others and flirt with them. I appreciate beauty. That's all that is. So, do you always go on a second date with those you appreciate? I asked politely. Elias shook his head. No, but you're special. So special that... Elias didn't finish the sentence. I wanted to ask, but I feared what we might learn. We talked for a bit longer, and Elias explained how his company is growing. I told him that Derek's always looking for new partners, and he agreed to speak with him. After we had dinner, Elias walked me outside. His hand caressed my cheek again, and a soft smile crossed his face. I had a wonderful time tonight, Caleb. I did too, but Elias, what does this mean? He hesitated, not saying a word. It can mean whatever you want it to mean. But I don't want. His lips let mine, silencing all of my feelings again. I kissed him back, my hands on his shoulders. He grabbed my waist and pulled me closer. As Elias pulled back, a flirty smile crossed his lips. So, let's go back to my place. It's right there. He pointed to the building. The truth was, I wanted to say no. I was in too deep, however, and knew I couldn't refuse. So I took his hand, and we had sex again. This time, it felt different, gentler, like there was something more there. Like Elias had his own feelings, he was scared to admit. Point of view, Elias. I looked at Caleb, sleeping soundly, feeling more regretful. Why couldn't I just tell him how much I liked him? Was it because of what Renee and Ryan had done in the past, or was it my own reservations? Caleb got up, his eyes fluttering open. Good morning. Morning, sweetie. How are you? Good. He yawned, looking around. You stayed. I did, I replied. So I guess this means something? No, I didn't want it to. I took a deep breath and shook my head. No, Caleb, it doesn't. His eyes widened as a heartbreak settled in. But I thought that... No, it's not that. This is so complicated. I stood up and paced around, trying to figure out how to put it. Caleb sat up, covering himself with the sheet. I saw how you flirted with that guy a week ago, and the server last night, and those girls when we walked into the hotel. Why? Why are you so scared to be with me? Is it because of my past? I shook my head. It was the right time to finally get off my chest and hope that Caleb understood. No, it's because of me. I struggle with settling down, and in fact, I refuse to. What's holding you back? My past? People who hurt me? So you think because of a couple bad people, I'll do the same? Elias, please, those people nearly ruined me financially. I can't deal with that again. They hurt me. Being a playboy helps me because it means I don't need to confront my feelings. Caleb stood up. Disappointment etched on his face. He grabbed his clothes and put them on, shaking my head. So you're scared of settling down because you think I'll screw you over? Wow. I thought maybe you were different. Things are different between us, Caleb. So different, I'm not sure how to feel. No, it's fine. You're happy you're single and I'm just an easy lay. I regret walking over to you at the club. I don't want my heart to be played with anymore. Caleb, please. Caleb disappeared, closing the door. I sat in the hotel room, taken aback by what had happened, and regret settled in. Caleb was different. He was the first man I felt something for and cared about so much. Now though, after all that happened, I blew that chance, and I may never have another opportunity. Point of view, Caleb. Come on, Caleb, come with me, it'll be fun. Yeah, about as fun as watching paint dry. I shook my head. No, I'm not interested. Derek sighed. It's been a month, man. At least come out and meet some new guys with me. Yeah, it's been a month, and I've tried desperately to forget about Elias. His calls, his texts, and I've stopped going to the club he frequented. Still, I couldn't get him off my mind. Why? It's not really my scene. That's a little bull. You used to love going to parties. It's because of that guy, right? Maybe, I muttered. Well, maybe we can figure out a way to avoid him. Just come with me. Caleb, I don't want to go alone. I knew there was a little reason with Derek. It was a work function, and there was little chance to see Elias there. Our company was thriving, but I had yet to see him at others. Perhaps it would be all right. Fine, I said, groaning. I'll come along with you. Thanks, Caleb. Who knows? You might find someone that'll help you forget about Elias. I hope so. Derek and I headed over to the party, a networking event for different software companies. I spoke with a few people, but the entire time, I looked around. He better not be here. I don't want... There he was. Elias. He talked with a few people. He hadn't spotted me yet. I maneuvered through the crowd, but as another guy in a suit called out my name, he turned his head. Our eyes met with a stare, a look that only we knew. I ducked through the crowd and tried to avoid him. I managed to weave through a few groups, eventually making it to a champagne fountain. After grabbing a flute, I walked outside towards the balcony. After looking to make sure I lost him, I leaned against the balcony and sighed. Why do I still care about him? He has no intention of settling down. The guy's too busy chasing tail. I thought I saw you. I turned, seeing Elias behind me, a serious expression crossing his face. Elias, I know you don't, but we need to talk. I'm sorry for not saying anything before. He gestured back to me. Come with me. Elias opened the door and stepped inside. I followed him, the pangs of regret growing. What did he want to say to me? Why did it matter? Either way, I couldn't run away, nor did I want to. If nothing else, this conversation would mean we'd finally clear the air on things once and for all. Point of view, Elias. I brought Caleb over to one of the side rooms people use for business discussions. After locking the door, we sat on the couch together. An awkward silence filled the space between us until I took a deep breath. I'm sorry, Caleb, for the way I acted. I was scared to admit that I liked you. Why? Because the last time I let anyone in, I got hurt. You're different from them. You're sweet and your intentions are clear. I see it on your face. I looked up at Caleb. He was a broken man given a second chance without any other secrets. Such an open book that I had no reason to worry. Caleb sighed. It hurt a lot when you pushed me away. I know. It hurt me too. Every time you pulled me in, I wanted to say, but I was scared this might be another Renee or Ryan situation. They both abused me in the past, and I swore off dating after that. What about now? What do you want from me? I reached out and touched his hand, squeezing it. A relationship. Caleb turned, and I reached out to grab his chin as I said, I like you, Caleb. A lot. Maybe I've even fallen for you. There's something stronger there, reeling me in. Caleb nodded. It's the same here. I tried to forget you, but I couldn't. Neither did I. He looked at me, went to the serious expression. I don't mind this, if you agree to change your ways. I chuckled. Of course I want to. I want to be with you. I sought you out that night because I thought you were special. There was a connection there. Yeah, there was. Maybe it was fate's way of drawing us together. Maybe so. Either way, I'm willing to change to be a better man for you. It might be hard, but I want to do this for you. Caleb smiled. Good. I want this too. Our lips met in a passionate kiss. I refused to let him go. Caleb's lips and body felt so perfect against mine, and I never wanted to let them go. He was different. I never felt my heart beat this quickly, nor did I ever crave someone the way I craved Caleb. I pushed him against the couch and pulled back, smirking. You fine with staying here? For a little bit? Caleb looked to the door and nodded. Yeah, I'll tell Derek what happened later. Oh, I'm sure he'll love all the details, I replied, chuckling. Caleb rolled his eyes but smiled. Not like that, just that I was busy. Do you finally come to terms with the feelings you've been hiding? I said as I peppered kisses against Caleb's lips. He pulled back and nodded. Yep, that's exactly it. I kissed him again, and soon our bodies fell into the same love embrace. Could Caleb change me? I wasn't sure, but either way, I was open to the notion, especially if it meant something special for both of us. Point of view, Caleb. I did change Elias' ways. We became a couple, much to the surprise of others. His old flings were shocked that he found someone, but many accepted it. We began a real relationship. I moved into his apartment. He agreed to a partnership with Derek, so we ended up working together. 2 years later, I asked him to marry me. It shocked Elias, but he eagerly said yes. A man who was once a Playboy millionaire ended up changing his ways, allowing him to find happiness and learn to let go of the past. Have you ever fallen for the charms of a Playboy? Let us know in the comments.